Kizza George William Mirembe. I was born in Mukono. I've grown up in Mukono. I've grown up while staying with my auntie, and my parents died of AIDS, all of them, my brothers and sisters, in a way that every time my mother could go and give birth, the result could come out nga buli mwana gwazadde gwe yazaalanga nga alina AIDS. It's only God that helped me nti when they were giving birth to me, the doctors made sure that my umbilical cord could not get in touch with my mother's blood. So that's how I was saved from day one. My aunt told me all this story when I was in my primary 7 vacation. To be honest, I don't remember my mom because she died after 9 months giving birth to me. Yeah, there's no way I could even bring a picture of her. They just showed me the pictures of her. Yeah, it's only Dad who died in 2003. This I could now see that now this is Dad. Yeah, because my aunt tried a lot to save him, but by that time AIDS was too serious and there was not this medicine to treat those people. Yeah, so I remember in 2003, I have my uncle who is a brother to my aunt, was a chairman. So there came an organization that was looking for orphans to support, and I joined this organization in 2003. From there, they started supporting us. This organization, they were looking for orphans who could not have a chance to education, who could not have something to eat daily. They wanted to support, like they could become a family. You be part of the family. They support you as you be in a family. Eh? So when I joined this organization, it's called Compassion International. I was on the center called the Mukono Child Development Center. Before joining that organization, my aunt, remember, also had children, and she had just separated with her husband who was cheating on her with another woman, and that woman had AIDS. So my aunt was like, for me, I can no longer be in this marriage. So we were 4 at home, and she was not working. She was this woman who was strong because she could go out there and work in different schools as a matron, then as a cook or chef, to get the money from there so that she could support us. Now, one of the schools was in Lugazi, so she could leave us at home, then go to Lugazi, and she could be there the whole term without coming back, but she could support us through. And that school, it was a secondary school, so she couldn't go with us over if it was a primary school because we were still young. So when this organization came on, life really changed a lot, because they introduced me to Jesus. I didn't know about Jesus. I didn't know about God. I was that person nga ebyensi kweganze byantwala because I was still young, but I didn't know that even there is God. I remember I was 5 years. Yeah, they used to take me to church, but you know, by these people when I joined them, because we used to have center days. We used to go there on Saturdays. Then in our holidays, we go there for a week. Yeah, but every day we could go there, they could give us what to eat. That's what I love the most there, because for me, I love eating. So they could give us what to eat. Eh? Yeah, they could give us what to eat. Then they share with us about God, and they made us to to love each other. I learned so many things from there because they told us you have to love your neighbor as you love yourself. They taught us more about the Bible. They taught us more cognitive skills like making liquid soap. Yeah, then they got us sponsors. These sponsors, they're outside countries. My sponsor was in America. When I got this sponsor, she could send the school fees. Then she could also send a Christmas gift. She could also send a birthday gift for me. Then she could write even letters, as I also used to reply them. We used to interchange through letters. Like you write a letter, you send to her, you write to her like telling her what's going on in Uganda and how is life in Uganda, how is school, then what you would love to, what was your dream when you grow up. We used to share with them everything. I was with her until I made 22 years. Because in that organization had a program to support you up to 22 years, because for them they could catch it and see that right now you can do something for your own.
Yeah, at 22
Yes. So in secondary, that's when I decided to learn more about friends, about how to act in a society, and I even had a girlfriend when I was in senior 2, that adolescent stage. Yeah, I was so very stubborn actually since my childhood. I was very, very stubborn. Actually, I started to see this girl in senior 1, third term, because that's when I was so popular at school. When I was senior 1, I had these 2 friends. One was Frederick, then another one was Faizo. We used to sit 3 on a desk. It was a very big desk like this, but we used to be 3. And when a student teacher, most of the time, this student teacher who comes in, and they were, who is Kizza, who is Frederick, and who is Nsimbe, they separate us because they know we could cause trouble during the lecture. Because we are so stubborn, like these people throw those nasty comments to the teacher. Yeah, so we are so stubborn in a way that, so one day in my senior 1, that was third term, I was like, it's a Monday, we have an assembly. Then the doors of the school was like, who is Kizza, who is Faiz, and who is Frederick? You come here in front. And I used to be shy, and I could fear to be beaten in front of people. So the dose was like, you are disturbing my student teachers when they come to teach you. So I'm going to punish you. Lie down. So for Faiz and Frederick, it was easy for them, but for me, beating me, it was a tug of war. At least you had to first get more people to handle me. You beat me. So I was like, I wanted to run. And that's when I became popular at school, in my what? In my senior 1. So that's how even I came out when I joined, when we went for holidays and came back for senior 2. Then I got this girlfriend, because I remember I had a bike and I used to ride it from home. Then I used to use a bike because it was a long distance. I had these friends, they were like, man, you don't have a girlfriend. For all of us, we have. So in senior 2, that's when you start to, that adolescent stage. So these friends of mine, they were like, you have to get a girlfriend. And I'm like, for me, I'm shy. I don't know those things.
Was it peer pressure that pushed you?
It was peer pressure. So these guys made the girl, because the girl was like, for me, I'm fine with Kizza because he's handsome. But for me, I was shy because even I could not say a word to her. But I could do everything to show her that I really like her too. But I could not tell her in a word. Yeah. So this guy used to do for me the work in class, write for me the notes, get for me something to eat. And she used to come with something, like you are there at break time, she comes and says, Kizza, this is for you. And I'm like, okay. That's when I started to fall in love with her slowly by slowly. So when we came to senior 3, form 3, then I was like, I don't know where they got the idea to become a prefect. So I got the idea and I was like, let me contest. So I became a timekeeper. I was an assistant timekeeper. So the guy whom I was challenging with got only 4 votes, if I remember. Due to my popularity and the way he was acting at school, that stubbornness. So I made sure that I talked to every person at school, the whole students, because when I meet at break time or in class, I could go there and I say, please, I need your vote, like that. But there's something I remember when we were in the interview, because when we were going to contest for a prefectship, you have to go through interview. So when we went there, that guy I contested with is called Chasa Uncle Steven. So we went there with Steven and we were like, you know, before that they had briefed us, when you reach there, please don't sit, make sure that they want to tell you that you sit, the way you do this, you know. So we reached there when we were very smart and reached there and they were like, okay, Kizza and Steven, you are here. Yes, madam, we are here. I remember one was the librarian, Mr. Sensalire, then the madam was called Alabika. They were the one who interviewing us. So they were like, Kizza and Steven, we are going to have a lesson, but this lesson is going to take 1 minute. So when the lesson is over, you ring the bell. Yeah. So we are like, yeah, only that. Everyone was like on the watch. 1 minute. So 1 minute, we rang the bell. Toot, 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 toot. Your time is over. Yet this madam was just even introducing, hello class, Arabica. Today we're going to start about this and this, the topic. So in actual sense, me and Steven, we failed the interview. Because there's no any lesson can last for 1 minute. So I realized that with time, but we had failed. So the only chance they gave us, because it's when we had contested and they needed some competition, they let us pass through the interview. So when they let us through, the time of voting, I remember Steven got only 4 votes. 1 for his girlfriend and him himself. And there are some 2 friends came to me. One was Bomboka, then the other one Kaku. They told me, man, Kizza, I have so many votes. Steven is not having votes because everyone is going to vote you. So at least let us give Steven some votes. So I got all votes, I won. And I remember I was so happy. So I celebrated with my girlfriend, because by that time in senior 3, the relationship had grown. We could understand each other, you know. Yeah. And when you become a prefect, and since I was a timekeeper, I had to join hostel because you have to be around 24/7. And their life really became challenging in the way that that's when I started to know friends, real friends.
So all this entire time, was your sponsor paying for the school fees?
Yes, the sponsor was paying for school fees, because when it is holiday times, we go to that for center days to Compassion, because we had somewhere, it's called Deliverance Church Mukono. That's where I used to go and gather from. Yeah. When it's holidays, we go there for 1 week. When it is school time, we used to go there on Saturdays. Yeah.
Okay, so you're joining hostel?
Yeah, I'm joining now hostel. So I'm living, life there was really hard, because you know something called Kau. Walimba denga wakanga, you know everything. Yes, but here I'm at school. And my aunt could not support me all of that, because for me I had got a sponsor now. He had also her children. Yeah. So when I was in hostel, I learned something from friends. There's something we call trust. Yeah. I had this friend from Form 1 called Suna Ashilaf. This guy, I used to interact with him, share with him my secrets because he was among the best. You know, for me, I used to have friends who are always better than me in class, such that I could learn more from them and we compete. Yeah. So this guy, Ashlaf, one day I was sick, it was prep time. And I was like, I'm not going to finish up, let me go and rest. So I went and rest. When the time came for the prep time to end, these people, they come back when they are shouting, you know. So they made me to wake up, but I was still in my bed. Yeah. So this guy came back and was like, yeah, what's wrong with Kizza? And soon I was like, that guy mwana ine bizibu bye, like that. Mbumuradde. So this guy told them everything about me. I used to share with him. He told them everything. So from that day, I started to be, I just shut up. In fact, I just kept quiet. I no longer interacted with anyone anymore. I stopped trusting friends, and it became hard for me to trust a friend again. So Ashlaf, I used to just keep quiet. I even stopped interacting with him. I stopped to have friends like I'd be there and I talk to you. Yeah. So that thing has been affecting me ever since. And having a friend to trust.
You've been like alone, more of the loner.
Yeah, I started to be alone. Yeah. So we finished up O-level. And remember I told you when we were at Compassion, we used to have these letters to write to our sponsors. So for me, my dream was to be a doctor. The reason is I wanted to save more children whose parents had AIDS, but the child could be given birth to without AIDS. So that's what I want to do specifically, to save more lives.
You are picking this from your parents?
Yes. Yeah, so that was my dream career. Unfortunately, things didn't turn up well because when the results came back for O-level, I had passed very well all the science subjects and I could go pursue what I wanted because I wanted to stop from O-level. So I went with my aunt, we went to Jinja nursing school. I had an interview, both oral and written. I passed very well, and the teachers, the lecturers there were like, we are waiting for you. We really like what you really want. Yeah. Unfortunately, the money was too much because only starting without tuition, I needed 3 million only to buy the scholastic materials for me to join the nursing school. Without tuition, so it was a little bit hard for me. And I remember in that vacation, I had got somewhere to work there in a factory. By that time, they used not to allow us to share everything with our sponsors because they were like, you let her know not everything. And for them, they had a limit on which money to send us. Yeah, and that money was too much. So it was difficult for my sponsor to know, and I could not join the nursing school. So I wrote to her and I told her that I'm in my vacation, but I'm going to see if I can at least go back to A-level and study A-level, because for me science subjects were easier for me, things of calculations. The moment I get the concept, the rest is easy. Yeah. So in my vacation for senior 5, I worked. Then I was like, maybe my aunt tried to get more bursaries from Buganda bursaries. Yeah, but things didn't go through. And by the time I was still waiting on people who are going back for A-level, they had already started. So I didn't study the first term for senior 5. So I joined them in second term. In fact, I joined them when they are going to do mid-term exams for second term. Yeah. And I had a lot of work to cover. So when I joined A-level, that was second term, my girlfriend separated with me. For her, she was like, when you do science subjects, you are not going to create more time for me. Since for me, I'm doing art subjects, because you are going to be always busy. And to me, she was right, because the fact is I had joined late and I had a lot to cover. I didn't to catch up with my fellow students. To be honest, I didn't have more time for her. So for me, I accepted it, but it was so hurting. In fact, it affected my performance.
How?
Because it was my first art break, and the way I had fallen in love with her more, the more it became hurtful to me. I used to be there and thinking about it, because I used to see her around the compound, because she was also still at the same school, St. Stephen's. I used to see her around the compound, she got another boyfriend, and I used to add up things like, I have to do my work, then I also concentrate, then I let that thing go. So it was so hurtful, and with time it came out, and I like, let me let it go. Yeah. So I remember I got 5 points in third term.
Oh, senior 5.
Yeah, I did physics and math, then with art, because I talked with the boss of the school, and he was like, Kizza, yes, you need science subjects, but you need something for a break since you've joined us late. So I had no option apart from doing art. Yeah. So I had 5 points in third term. I went back to the boss and he told me that since you have 5 points in just 1.5 terms, let me allow you to go in senior 6 and I see your first term. When the things fails, I bring you back to senior 5. Yeah. So things just became harder and harder, because there are something in life, when you don't start with something which starts, because these science subjects need something, you be on the same level, then you have to study something with your friends, and and you be on the same pace. And remember, for me, I could not interact with more friends anymore, because I had lost trust in friends.
Yeah, so then you had trust issues.
Yeah, I had trust issues, so I ended up like always disturb this one teacher called Master Zimbe, and to get time for me, really, it was hard. And so senior 6 became hard, and I still got 5 points at the end from UNEB. Those 2 years, really, they were a waste to me, and I was so down. I was disappointed, because I'm that person who really wanted to study and impress my aunt and my sponsor, because they're the reason to my education. Yeah. So when the results came back for A-level, I was like, I sat down with my auntie, and I had only 2 years remaining with Compassion International. I sat down with my auntie, I went to Joy, that is Compassion. We discussed it with the teachers there, and they were like, since it is 2 years, Kizza can do something, like a course. So that was 2016. They brought me to Buganda Royal Institute. So I had a certificate in electrical engineering, and it was a success. Yeah. When I finished my certificate, I had to leave Compassion. So here my sponsor put in a request that for me, I want to stay in touch with my child. So the request was accepted by Compassion. Then from there, I started to communicate with my sponsor directly.
When did you have got to Compassion?
Yes, compassion was like now a mediator. Yeah. So from there, I started talking to her directly. Yeah. Then talking to her directly, it helped me because I was that person. I'm like, this level, certificate level, to me it's not enough. So I went back for a diploma, but after asking my sponsor, who became my mother with time, because to me she was no longer now a sponsor. Yeah, in fact when we connected directly, we got that relationship. To me it's a blessing from God, because we got this relationship in a way that we could communicate. So she asked me everything, yambuza buli kimu about my life, because we could not interact with them when we are still in compassion, everything.
Yeah, it was compassion to
Yeah. So from there she was like, allow me to know everything now. Nambuza about my childhood story, my parents, how did I join compassion. Yeah. And she also shared with me her story. So nemugamba buli kimu. She's called Jan Stramel Mirembe. Mirembe is this name that I gave to her because I remember one day we were interacting, texting each other, and I nemubuuza, if you were born in Uganda, linnya ki lye wandiyagadde okuyita. Nangamba, well, I like peacemaker because I'm that person who tries to have peace with someone. Now, but she requested me to tell her that name in our language. Yeah, so I told her it is Mirembe. She really liked it, and ever since from there, she started calling herself Mirembe. She told the whole family members, her children, everyone. So she liked it, and from there even me I started calling myself Mirembe. Yeah. So she had this living testimony. When she was 19 years, it was discovered that she had a heart problem. Yeah. So, and at 19 years, her parents forced her to go in marriage because she could not go to school. Every time she was sick. And when she was in marriage, she had children, 3 children. Then at 40 years, she gave her life to Christ. She became a born-again Christian. That's when she even joined Compassion to start supporting children. And that child, that is me. Yeah. So I was lucky enough. And since she had a heart problem, she had to be going to see her doctor. They are called cardiologists, something like that. Abakebera bana abakebera abalwadde b'emitima. Yeah. So we communicated more about our lives, our childhood stories, and we became so intact. So she accepted me as a son, and I used to call her a mother after her knowing everything about me. Yeah. I remember when I put in a request to her that I want to go back for a diploma in electrical engineering, she wrote to me. It was Sunday morning on Easter. That was 2019, around April. Yeah, she wrote to me and she was like, Kizza, I'm going to support you and you go back for a diploma. I was so happy and excited. And I thanked God for that opportunity because not everyone here can have that opportunity in Uganda. Yeah. So my aunt was so happy about it, and those teachers from Compassion, because they had become family. Because they know everything about my life. They became family. They became from madams to aunties. Then one of them became also my mother. Yeah. So every time I go back there, they welcome me and they take good care of me because I feel at home. When I go there, I always feel at home and I'm part of them. And that compassion is still there. The program is still on. They are young children, they are still supporting. So every time I get time, I go back and share with them my story to encourage them that they can also make it in life. So life at diploma became challenging in that period because my mom, Jan Stramel Mirembe, they raised this lockdown during COVID. So she could not go and see the doctor. By the time they lifted up the lockdown, the things were worse. And from heart problem, she had got also kidney failure. Yeah. So for last year in Uganda, we had stopped studying. We tried to study online, but things were not normal, you know. Yeah. So it was really hard. Then I remember in 2021, it was March. Mom sent me a message, a mail, saying that she's from the hospital, but they have checked her when she has a kidney failure, a heart failure, and even lungs. So she could no longer be on hospital, apart from she had accepted to stay home and wait until she meets her Savior, Jesus Christ. That mail put me really down because I was still studying. I had 1 more year. Those are 2 semesters to cover. Remember, she was the one supporting me. And in March, it was 31st of 2021, her husband wrote to me that, "Dear Kizza, my wife has went to heaven, but I will get back to you shortly." I shared with my aunt, and my aunt is from Compassion. She had gone, but to me, she's always with me because I thank God 77 years we are really life of glory, because without her, I couldn't be this very far. Yeah. And her husband is called Rocky Stramel. He sent me a link because they had to add a burial. I joined them online. I watched everything. I could not accept it, but I had to. Though she's that woman that who loved me first more. Yeah. She was everything to me because since 2003, I've never dreamed to be where I am today. Yeah. So when she left, and when the burial was done after like 1 week, the husband wrote to me and told me that, "Tell me how far with school and how many semesters are remaining, such that I cover up, I finish what your mom had started." To me, I was like this saying in the Bible that whatever God puts on his hands, he has to finish. Yeah. So the husband supported me until recently I finished my diploma, and today I have a diploma in electrical engineering. I thank God, and I dedicate this victory to Janice Stramel, my mom in heaven, because since if it wasn't her, I couldn't be this far. To me, she's the reason to what I am today. She also died.
So,
To be honest, I miss mom terribly. I miss her so much because I remember I had the thing of not trusting any more friends. I could easily write to her about what happened in a day in my life than telling any other person. So I no longer have that person to talk to, that person I can trust. And I'm like, I miss her so much because she was everything to me. I could tell her that mom this and this as if she's here. Yeah, but and she could like, no, do this, Kizza, do this, my school boy, you know, my son in Uganda. So life became really hard ever since she left. I always miss her, but I always keep her in prayers, and I know she is in glory in heaven. Yeah.
Are you still in contact with this family?
I'm still in contact with the family members, and they are aware that Janice had a son in Uganda. Yeah. So to me, I used to tell her by the way that one day, mom, when the right time comes and I have a wife, I'll make sure that the first daughter is named after all your names. My first ever daughter, a gift from God. So to me, she's always with me, and she will always be with me. To me, what I can say, when you are out there, you've lost your parents, keep trusting in God, because to me, I've never even dreamed to be what I am today. And I grew up with only my auntie, but today I have so many aunties. I have a family, and I have so many mothers around me. I have so many people who care for me. So let them not lose hope. Let them keep trusting in God, and a miracle is coming their way, because to me it is a living miracle. I could never be here if I didn't go through compassion. Yeah. Let them keep believing, let them keep praying, and let them still have hope that this God who created us is really there, and is seeing you, and is going to help you out. Is going to make you a better person in this life.